All right, you ready to roll?
Yep, I got the dipstick installed.
Is that chrome?
Oh, it's the only color they had.
I can't believe you would do that.
Babe.
I'm not talking to you for the rest of the day.
Babe, come on, don't do that. Don't block me out. Babe.
Come on.
Oh, I hate when you do this. Oh, there you are.
Yep.
You ready to get started?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right.
All right, so when we last left off on the Blazer, we had just taken and gotten rid of a bunch of bad stuff on it that was done by a previous owner of it.
Yeah.
We got down to getting all the wiring off of it. We took the chrome starter off of it.
Yeah.
Tightened up 100 different bolts. And then, sure enough, the only dipstick I could find to purchase for it was a chrome one. So I'm suffering with a chrome dipstick, okay? But today we are going to put a Edelbrock Performer intake manifold on it. And we'll drop a new distributor in it and get some wires on this thing in preparation to get it fired up. So let's get to it, all right?
Let's do it.
All right, so in 1987, they came out with a throttle body injection on these trucks. And it changed a few things for the cylinder heads and for the intake manifolds, all right? We're not going to put a throttle body intake on it. We're going to put this Edelbrock Performer manifold on it. It was made for small block Chevys that were pre-1987, okay?
Okay.
So you might notice that I have oblong these holes, okay, for the center port.
Yep.
Okay, for the crossover. Ordered these from Summit, little spacers. They changed the angle that the bolt goes in, all right, in the two center ports.
Okay.
So I had to take a die grinder, oblong those holes out towards the outside of the manifold, okay? Okay. To where they fit, and now with those spacers, they'll fit at the right angle, okay? Okay. So that's how I fixed that problem. Going to 87 and above, they were all like that. They changed to that angle, okay? So a little problem there, but pretty easy to overcome that one, all right? Yep. We already cleaned up our surfaces. Yeah, we're going to use some Felpro gaskets.
Those are Edelbrock gaskets.
Oh, Edelbrock.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't get to say Felpro.
Aw.
Sweet.
You did that on purpose.
Yep. All right. So, also, on a 87, you would not want to use, you wouldn't want to go into the parts store and buy intake manifold gaskets for an 87. You would want to buy them for an 86 or older. Okay. Okay. The reason for it is, in the throttle body had to have some water passing through it to heat up that fuel a little bit for some reason. And because the throttle bodies were not very good, they only had 8 to 12 pounds of fuel pressure, and the discharge on the injector nozzle was not the greatest, so you still needed some heat in that manifold to atomize the fuel. Okay, so on a 87, we don't even have an 87 gasket set. It's so hard to open up their boxes. So you can't return them? Yeah. Okay. All right, definitely not returning them, Edelbrock, so don't worry. Okay, so if we bought TBI intake manifold gaskets, okay, towards the front of the cylinder head, it would have a block-off plate, kind of like that in it. Okay. And I think it even had it's a smaller hole, okay? And that would direct the water to force it to the back of the cylinder heads, I think, and then make it return pass through the throttle body. And I don't know, these might be just for that instance. So like if this was for a throttle body, you could use it and block it off because they got that in there already. But I would think that would blow out, but I don't know. So that's the story with that. You wouldn't want to go buy gaskets for an 87 if you're putting on a 86 and older intake.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to show the difference of the manifolds. Okay. See, this is a TBI manifold. That water port's open. That one's open. That one's open. That one's open. Okay. On an Edelbrock Performer or older Chevy manifolds, those are not open at all, and you just have your water passage through there. Okay.
Okay.
So they plugged off one of the ends to force the water to go through, and it passes through the bottom of this intake. You can kind of see the runner from it.
Yeah.
So it warms up that manifold and helps the fuel atomize. Okay.
Fancy.
Yeah. But of course we don't want that anymore with fuel injection.
No.
Right? The fuel injection that we're going to use, it runs off of 58 pounds pressure, and it comes out and atomizes pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. And everybody knows that cold air coming in is much better than hotter.
Yeah.
When you're talking about wanting a little horsepower. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. You did a nice job of cleaning this up.
It's pretty gross.
Yep. All right, so I'm gonna leave it like that.
Okay.
And let's go clean off the block.
Okay.
We already did a bunch of work to this thing that we weren't gonna show on a video. I put the exhaust manifolds on it.
Yeah.
This week. I put bell housing bolts in it. It was missing 3 of them, and there was one that basically it was hanging on by, and it was about a 1/4 of an inch from being tight. So it's pretty sad.
Not good.
No. And then we went and we didn't trust the oil filter that was on it, so we took the oil filter off, and the adapter for the oil filter was not tight
Yeah.
either.
That was a little surprise.
Yeah. So we have that tight now. We spun a new oil filter on it, and we also put new oil in it because we don't know what the guy put in it before. It was full, but I wanted to know what we had in it, so we put some Rotella T4 in it.
Everybody's favorite.
Yep. And we added some zinc.
Yep.
Okay, because we're going to fire this thing up and break a flat tappet cam in it, and hopefully that goes good.
Yep.
And because of these little tabs, all right, I took my manifold and I bolted it on. So I did a dry fit on it, and I put it all together without the gasket on it. Ran all the bolts in on all of them, okay?
Yep.
And then I made sure that there was no gasket, so I made sure that by lifting it up just a pinch, everything's still fit nicely.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to do the gaskets and figure out that because it's sitting on gaskets that these don't line up.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be bad.
So by doing it that way, I know that it's going to fit together. Let's put a little layer of silicone on this first, all right?
Okay.
I've never used a complete tube of silicone, you know?
Yeah.
It always ends up, I lose the cap, or it just solidifies for some reason at the end of the tube, and then I get frustrated and I quit messing with it. Like that one. Look nice?
Yeah.
Yeah. It will when I'm done.
Those art classes are really paying off.
I do it very quick.
Yeah.
Don't, I know that it's never going to be seen again, so I don't care. As long as there's not too much. There is the idea of too much silicone, okay?
No.
I don't want too much silicone. So. And then we got to do this kind of fast because I can't leave it like this and come back tomorrow morning and finish the rest of it.
Yeah.
We got to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you put another layer on the block, don't you?
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and the end tabs will.
Oh yeah.
Look at the Edelbrock gasket set doesn't even come with the terrible rubber.
Yeah, the little
end tabs for the back walls, front and back walls. Okay. Looks a little better after I do this, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want any extra silicone going on the intake side. Don't care about the water side. Don't care about the exhaust crossover. We're going to leave the crossover on the exhaust plugged.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
This little guy, right?
Yep. So the gasket's going to be just the way it is. But if you were using a carburetor, you might want to have the crossover. Okay.
Okay.
And it depends on where you live too. We live in a fairly warm climate, and if you lived up north, then you might want to rethink that.
Yeah.
All right, onto the truck. I also took a tap to each one of these holes. Okay.
Yes.
Ran a tap through them, cleaned them, because it did have an intake manifold already on it that he had siliconed it up, and they seriously needed cleaning, so it was just something that you should do. What is it about chrome that I don't like?
Was your family attacked by chrome when you were a young child?
No, but I did have a bunch of chrome on the first truck that I ever owned.
Oh no.
And it all got stolen. You know, at the 2-year college that I went to, I went to go home one Friday night, and they would let us pull our vehicles into the shop at the school and check them out before we hit the road, because most of us had a couple-hour drive.
Yeah.
And so we'd bring our vehicles in and check their oil and look them over. So I was pulling mine in from the parking lot on a Friday night, and everybody was yelling at me as I pull in the door, and all my fluids are like dumping out of the bottom of the truck. So somebody had stolen my chrome Edelbrock valve covers.
Oh wow.
I even had a chrome brake master cylinder cap.
Oh.
They stole that. So every time I'd hit the brakes, the fluid would squirt out the top of the brake master cylinder. So brake fluid was sprayed all over the place.
Oh no.
I can't remember what other chrome stuff I had, but in the 80s there weren't options. Chrome was the only option.
Yeah.
If you wanted to dress up your vehicle. But I did have an Edelbrock intake manifold on it. That was aluminum, of course, but
they didn't take that?
no, I'm surprised. Had a quadrajet on it. Didn't take the quadrajet.
Oh.
I was pretty impressed that it ran, but that was a 72 pickup, and on a 72, the spark plug wires, they run underneath the exhaust manifold, so you could take the valve covers off and not really affect anything.
Yeah. Huh.
Huh, that's what I said.
Huh, would you look at that?
Yeah, so I had to ride back to my hometown with somebody that I didn't know, and he probably didn't want me riding with him. And then I had to ride back again Sunday to be in class, and I had no money, so I can't remember where I come up with the money to buy the parts to fix it, but I had a week to fix it. So that's my story for the day. So I'm just gonna leave that in there because I don't want my manifold getting warmed up any. Somebody will tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I love hearing it. I'm wrong more than I'm right, so that's, I'm just used to it. Make sure my little ends are good. Also, on those TBI intake gaskets, if that's what you're running, you can put those gaskets on backwards because there is a left and a right. So you have to pay attention to not put them backwards.
Oh.
Okay?
Yeah, that would be.
I think on a small block, if it's correct, there's a little tab that sticks out right here so you can tell if it's right without taking the intake off.
Oh.
Okay?
Yeah, that'd be bad.
Yeah. All right. So do your best to drop it down. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna do these first, just so I know they fit.
Okay.
Okay. 1.25" bolts on these.
Grade 8.
Grade 8. Yep. Like I said, we ordered these from Summit.
Yep. Little wedges.
Yes, wedges is what they're called.
Wedges, not wedgies.
You can call them wedgies. That's fine.
I'll give you a wedgie.
I don't think so.
Atomic wedgie.
I wonder if kids still do that.
I don't know. That is one of the true American pastimes.
You'd probably get sent to prison.
Yeah, really.
All right, so on these things out on the corners, on the four corners of the manifold, I use 1.25" 3/8 bolts. All the others, except for the center 4 bolts there, they're inch. I do them an inch long. Okay.
Okay.
You do a bolt too long in that one and that one, I believe, and it'll push on the push rod. So you have to be careful not to use a bolt that is too long.
That would be bad.
Yeah. And believe me, you know it when it happens.
Make a noise.
Yeah, it causes a serious problem. All right, so I snugged them all down by hand. Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna put some corns to it today. We haven't got to use the corns in a while.
Yeah. If you're not familiar with the corn method,
Yeah.
it's
Probably.
how we like to torque things around here.
Yeah. Okay. The torque spec for this TBI manifold, if it was a TBI manifold, is 30 foot-pounds. Okay.
Okay.
So I snugged them down by hand, and I'm gonna go around and snug them down a little. The little wedge ones, they feel a little weird when you're doing it. And I have my torque wrench set at 20 foot-pounds, which is 3.75 corns.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Check those conversion rates for using corns.
Yeah. So I'm going to go down to 20 on my first pass around,
Okay.
which is not very much.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on.
Okay.
There it goes.
You hear it? What's kind of nice about these is you can actually get to these bolts, the center ones, better with a torque wrench, because you used to not be able to all that easily. You'd have to kind of use a crow's foot on it or something like that to get to them. But with them angled up like this, you can get to them and torque them better.
Yeah.
Okay. So there you go.
Okay.
And whoever decided to make those little wedges deserve a giant pat on the back, because I had done these when those weren't available and you had to make them yourself.
Oh, jeez.
Or just be happy that the bolts were in there at all, and that's what most people did. And so by doing that, whoever made those things, it kind of makes it a little easier.
Is there an official sequence, or do you just start in the middle and work your way out?
Yep, middle up.
Yeah. See the silicone squishing out.
Yes. All right, so all of them are at 20.
Okay.
Let's go to 30. That's 4.73 corners.
4.73.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll run this thing, and after we run it and go through its break-in, I'll go back around and recheck them. Come on. There you go. Ugh, come on. There. 30 doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're pushing on it on an aluminum intake manifold, it does seem like a lot.
Yeah.
Because the original manifolds, even though that one that we just showed, that was a Edelbrock manifold, but the original GM ones, they were aluminum too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but you're going into cast iron cylinder heads.
Yeah.
Cast iron cylinder head would never be 30 foot-pounds or 3.75 corners.
Was it like 100 foot-pounds?
Now the cast iron manifold is probably the same.
Oh, really?
30. I was just cranked down on them now.
Give them the corns?
Yeah, if it was a cast iron manifold, I wouldn't care. I'd just tighten that baby down. Oh, it had no oil pressure sending unit in it either. So
Yeah, that would have been fun, starting it up.
yeah. So I added that, raised it up a little bit away from the manifold. I wanted to put a 90 on it, but I couldn't find a 90, so I used a T. And then, so I'll screw the oil pressure sending unit on the end of that. But here in just a little bit, we're going to prime it.
Yeah.
And we'll watch and see our oil pressure on the gauge.
Yeah.
All right?
Okay.
So that's it.
That's it.
Manifold is on. All right. So intake is on. I don't want anything to fall in the intake that I don't notice, so I always just tape it off. Okay. Better safe than sorry.
Yes.
We did blow it out too before we put it on, or when we cleaned it.
Yeah.
But it stops anything from falling in there that we don't notice. So at this point, we need to we can prime the engine. Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna make sure that it's got oil pressure, and we're gonna make sure it's got oil pressure that has made its way all the way to the top of the push rods, you know?
Sweet.
All right. So, and we know it wasn't primed because when we took the oil pump off of it, or the oil filter,
Yeah.
it's completely dry.
Yeah.
So whoever put it in initially did not do that, but we're going to, okay?
Sweet.
All right, and then this is how I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
Okay, I made this years ago. I didn't make the drill. Snap-on made that drill.
Oh, I see.
Okay, but I made this primer. Okay,
Okay.
I basically took a distributor. I ground the gears off of it. They're right on the camshaft. Took the shaft out. I cut it off at about that length. Okay.
Okay.
And then I cut it off there. So, because on some of them, it was hard to get the drill in that far.
Yeah.
So
with
I
the
made
hood.
it as short as possible.
Sweet.
But that's how I made my primer. I run it off my drill, but it started out looking like that.
Yeah.
Okay?
And it just goes down and
Yep.
drives the oil pump.
Yep. So that little, I don't know what you'd call it.
Little tab.
Yeah. It goes down and goes into the oil pump drive.
Yep.
And without the gears on there, That bypasses having to have the camshaft rotating, and I will bring oil pressure up with that.
Yep, so you're able to just run the oil pump without running everything else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Alright, so on top of being the most powerful drill in the world, it's the loudest drill in the world.
Yes.
Okay? You honestly need to wear ear protection when you're running this thing.
Yeah.
And if you're drilling into something with it, you hang on with both hands because it'll twist your wrist around like crazy. So
It's kind of scary.
yeah, just an example of the noise.
Wow.
Alright, so it drops in like that, alright?
Okay.
And once I turn the drill on, it'll drop down onto the oil pump drive, which we're also, by doing this, checking to make sure the oil pump drive is there, okay?
Yeah.
Because with the way this thing has been so far, it wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't there,
Yeah.
okay?
You did the oil pump delete.
Yeah, but it won't matter really because the engine's not running. We know it's going to make oil pressure, but we can see it rise up. But we're going to run it until we get oil coming out of our push rod ends. Okay.
Yep. Just like we did on the 6-liter we showed.
Yep. So I turned it. It dropped down onto the drive. And I'd say they're all full of oil, right?
I think so.
We'll call that good.
All right.
We'll assume that the same thing happened over on the passenger side.
Yeah.
You know? All right, so we got oil coming out of each push rod, filled up each rocker. I'm satisfied that when it starts up that we're going to have pretty instant oil pressure, and I'm sure it did the same thing on the right-hand side as on the left, you know?
Yeah.
So, or at least we hope so. Okay, so it's primed, that's done. There are other ways to do it, and the other way would be to have the distributor dropped in, use the starter, crank the engine over for a few seconds, let the starter cool off, repeat that over and over again.
Yeah.
Until you got oil pressure. With the spark plugs out.
Yes.
Okay. So just like now, we don't have the spark plugs in.
Yep.
If you did it without the distributor in there, you have to have the distributor running off the camshaft to drive the oil pump.
Yeah.
So that would not work. Okay. So if I crank it over right now with no distributor in there, the oil pump is not moving. Okay. So doing it that way wouldn't work. But the minute I put the distributor in there, then that would work.
Yeah.
And you also have to make sure it has oil in it.
Yeah, that helps.
Okay, on to the distributor now.
All right.
All right. I know what you're thinking. Excel Distributor, right?
Yeah.
Must be a sponsor. Nope, not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
Okay, but it's a pretty good product, and they come with stickers.
Ooh, I love stickers.
Okay, so we always go with a company that has stickers.
Yes.
Okay.
Very important.
Yes. Remember that.
Might want to call and confirm.
Yeah.
You're going to get stickers.
Ahead of time.
Yep.
Should put that on the description when you see what you're buying.
Yeah.
Okay?
Includes stickers.
All right, so let's unbox this thing.
And it's red.
It's got a red cap, which isn't my favorite. Every time I see like a red cap, it makes me think of Ford.
Oh, really?
Thing. Yeah, Ford, red or blue, but whatever, it'll work. The finish on these things is a lot nicer than some of the cheaper ones that you buy.
Yeah.
And it's got a better coil in it, and it's all brass distributor in it. And, it'll work nicely.
Sweet.
Okay?
Okay.
So before we can drop that in, we will need to take the cap off.
Okay.
All right? And then we have to go over and find top dead center on cylinder number 1. Okay. And be careful with these, because these do break, the little connector.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
So once we find top dead center, we're going to figure out where we want that thing to drop in, and we're going to have that pointing basically over to the number 1 cylinder.
Yep.
Top dead center on the compression stroke.
Okay.
There's a few different ways to do it, and we'll show you each way.
Okay.
All right? Step on up.
Here we go.
Okay, so the first way to do it, I'll do it the way that I like to do it, okay? Because to me, it's the fastest way to do it. I use the method of sticking my finger up against the spark plug hole, all right?
Okay.
And I know that when I get a puff of air that comes back out at me, that it's on its way up on the compression stroke, okay?
Yeah.
So it takes 2 rotations of the crankshaft to do a full cycle on a 4 cycle motor, basically, okay? So on the second time up, after the intake valve has closed, then it's going to go into the compression stroke where the piston is on its way back up with both of these closed then at that point. So it'll want to push air out at me.
Okay.
Okay. So with all the spark plugs undone, or all of them out of it, I'll crank it over with the starter. Should I get my little fancy push button? Yeah, this is pretty crude. I like doing it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna just stick my finger in it. Not in it, I'm just pushing it up against it. My fingers are too big to go all the way in, but if you had a finger that was small enough to go in there, you definitely wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Find it real quick.
Yeah. Okay. So it come puffing out at me instantly. I'll roll it around one more time, okay? Okay.
Okay.
So right there, it's close to top dead center, okay? And top dead center compression stroke. So let's see if we can find the mark on the balancer.
Yeah, I noticed you kept the chrome timing tab.
Yeah, I thought I'd just battle through it. Alright, so let's see if I can find the mark on the harmonic balancer. And I might have went past it, okay? Because it was turning over pretty easy.
Yeah. There it is.
So let's take and put a mark on it. Paint so we can see it come around.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do it again, all right?
Okay.
Okay. So there you go. It landed pretty good,
Okay.
right? So what am I gonna do now? Hang on a second. Do we have a straw?
Oh, I bet there's one in the truck. Yeah. There you go.
All right, so it puffed out at me, okay, and then it just went past the timing tab, all right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna back it up just to make sure, because the balancers can slip, okay, on if it's a bad balancer, or it might not be correct. So just to make sure, I'll take it back past the timing tab. All take something nice and soft like a plastic straw, okay? And put it in the spark plug hole. All right?
Okay.
All right, and it says right here, that is at, what's that say? Can you read that?
It'd be like 3 degrees before, I guess.
All right. Yeah, okay. So that's 0, and that's pretty close to where that straw quit moving, all right?
Okay.
So I know the piston's at the top, right there, top dead center. So I'm just gonna trust that one. So at that point, I could drop it in, and I'd be okay with that. I'm gonna mark with the paint where 0 is. I'll mark out here a little better so I can see 0 come back around. So imagine we're not going to do that then. We're not comfortable sticking our finger in there and starting it like that, all right?
Yeah.
So now the 4 strokes of the internal combustion engine, right?
Yeah.
So at this point, we just passed the compression stroke. So it's going to go into the ignition stroke, which is where the spark plug fires. It is sending the piston on its downward path, okay?
Okay.
So that's where we're at right now. So both of these are going to be closed at that point.
Okay.
All right, because if one of them was open or whatever, the compression would just, or the ignition portion of it would just blast out. So it's going to go down, and then so it hit the bottom, and then now your exhaust valve is opening. Okay, so exhaust valve is opening, so the piston is on its way back up. It's blasting all that spent air and fuel out, and then at that point it just closed, and then this intake is going to open. Okay. And so at that point, the piston hits the top of the cylinder, and it's going to start drawing in fuel on the intake stroke. Okay. So there it closes. So then you know it's closed. So what's it going to do when it's closed? It's going to compress. Everything that it just drew into the cylinder is going to get compressed as the piston is on its way up. Okay? And so that means that at that point, it's going to be top dead center of the compression stroke.
Sweet.
Okay? That makes sense?
Yeah.
And like if you weren't confident, you could always check it with a straw. If you can tell, like pushing on it right there. I'll move it a little bit and then I'll show you. Now the straw goes way in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can tell you're hitting the piston.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
But definitely don't do it with anything other than something nice and soft, like a straw.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go back around again.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go the direction the motor turns. So there's one pass around, so it's at the top of the compression stroke, or exhaust stroke.
Okay.
And then second pass around.
There you go.
There it is.
Sweet.
Okay. If you didn't do that, that's where people drop the distributor in when it's on the top of the exhaust stroke.
Oh.
And at that point, then it's what they call 180 degrees off.
Yeah.
Okay.
That only happens when you're on TV, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you have like a whole TV show and a crew and.
Yeah, a whole team of professional mechanics that dropped a distributor in 180 degrees off.
Mm-hmm.
It's very realistic.
It's 180 out. Sounds like it's 180 out.
Now, I'm not saying I haven't done it myself, okay? But I haven't done it in quite a few years. When we start these things, we're pretty confident it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna take and oil this thing up a little bit, and then we'll drop it in. All right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So the vacuum advance, that's about where I'm gonna want it to point out. Okay.
Okay.
So, but it's where the rotor is facing when you're all done with it is what the your goal is. Okay.
Okay.
So right there, it's going to drop down a little further. It's sitting on top of the oil pump drive right now.
Okay.
So as soon as it drops down, it'll move right about to there probably. Okay.
Okay.
Which is pointing at the number one cylinder where I want it.
Okay.
Okay. So then it's in time with the camshaft because it's engaged the camshaft gear. That's why it won't move anymore, because it's the gear on the end of the distributor is sitting against the gear at the end of the camshaft.
Okay.
So it won't drop down on the oil pump drive shaft because it just has one cog that it'll drop in
Yeah, that
at
little
180 degrees. So it'll go in two different ways, but it's got to hit it perfectly. Okay.
Okay.
So if you want it to drop down, all you got to do, rotate the engine over a little bit, and it'll find that spot, and just watch it drop when it does. Okay. It's gonna prove me wrong.
Oh no.
Okay, come on, come on. You should have went already. Why didn't it go yet? There it goes.
Okay.
Okay, I think it was in it already, but I think the gasket might have been stopping it from dropping down a little.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so I'm going to bring it back around, and let's watch for the intake valve to close. And we'll stop it at top dead center after the intake valve closes. Okay. That's the intake valve. Ouch, that hurt.
There.
Ah, so there you have it.
Sweet.
So that's 0, all right? Okay. We don't really want it to be on 0. We want it to line that up like that, okay?
Okay.
But when we actually start the car,
Mm-hmm.
we want it to be at about, on this thing, 8 degrees would be nice.
8 degrees
Okay.
after?
Before.
Before.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 8 to 10 degrees to start it up. So this is how we do that.
Okay.
I'm gonna take and set my distributor. And I could have done this before I set it in there, and that would have been smart. Okay. All right. So that's going to be number 1 right there. So I'm going to mark my distributor right in the center. Okay.
Okay.
Where it meets up there.
Okay.
My paint marker's going crazy.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So what I'm going to do, I got my timing tab. And I'm going to look at 8 degrees. And 8 degrees is right there.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to rotate the engine around 2 times again, and I'm going to stop it between 8 and 10 degrees. Okay.
Okay.
But no more than 8 degrees.
Okay.
Okay, that's the first time around.
Okay.
Let's put it where I gotta get not get ahead of myself and actually watch it come around here. Okay, there it is. All right, so.
That's 10, that's about 8 right there.
Okay.
Sweet.
All right, so 8 degrees before top dead center. Okay?
Okay.
8 degrees before. If it was 8 degrees after here, that's 8 degrees after top dead center, which you don't want, okay?
Okay.
All right, so my rotor then, I'm gonna line it up with my dot perfectly.
Okay.
Okay, so technically, starting it up then, it will be starting at 8 to 10 degrees, top dead center.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Okay, so Emily actually knew where the hold down was, so we're gonna go ahead and just bolt it down there, all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes hoarding parts pays off.
Yes. All right, is it lined up? You wanna eyeball it and I'll tighten it.
Okay, right there.
There? Yeah. All right. And I'm not going to crank down on it because we're going to have to adjust it, okay?
Okay.
And it's not holding it anyway, so that's great.
Oh well, we tried.
Yeah. All right, so our hold down's not working the best. So I'm going to go in here and just mark it. And that way I can at least put the wires and the cap back on, you know?
Yeah.
And I'll know where I'm at on that by marking it.
Sweet.
The ones in the back are kind of hard to get to, and a lot of times you'll go and do them, and you'll find out that whoever worked on it last just did not do that.
Oh,
Okay.
those are optional.
Yeah. Remember to plug the ignition module back in. This will get the 12 volts to it, and then it also is a source for the tack wire on this other lead
Oh yeah.
that the fuel system that we're going to put on will use. Okay.
Sweet.
Okay. So let's throw some spark plugs in it and some spark plug wires.
Let's do it.
Okay. And the valve cover.
Oh yeah. That might be nice.
All right. So there you have that.
All right.
I think these were the first center bolt valve covers too. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they were. I think the change in the cylinder head at that time, with the center bolts to the crossover being different,
Yeah.
and then I think the center bolt hold downs were new this year too. So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. 3/8. Oh no, these are chrome.
Oh no.
They're Spectra premium bolts. And I didn't realize they were chrome when I bought them, but it won't hurt anything. Yeah, there'll probably oil be shooting out the top of them. That's why I don't like chrome actually, is because like chrome it likes to leak.
Yeah.
The surface of it doesn't really lend itself to holding a gasket all that well. I think that's why I probably had a negative experience with chrome. So,
Yeah.
all right, and I hand corn those.
Yeah. Yeah. What, like 2 1/4, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double check these. I hate saying anything bad about anybody, but I know for certain the guy who had this doesn't know what a torque wrench is.
No. No.
You know, or he definitely doesn't know the corn method.
That's true.
Yeah. All right. So now at this point, if you didn't have the tool that I had to prime the engine, or another tool, you could prime it with the air pressurized one too if you wanted. But
Yeah.
now that the distributor's dropped in there to drive the oil pump, you could crank it over in short spurts and build your oil pressure up.
Okay.
So if you want, we'll check and make sure it works, right?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I'll crank it a little bit and we should get some oil pressure. Okay. But you can see that it would take a little while to do, okay?
Yeah.
And you don't want to just keep doing it and burn your starter up, because then you got to run to O'Reilly's and buy another starter.
Yeah.
Or warranty it out 5 times. They start to get a little suspicious when you've been in there 3 times in one day.
Yeah, all for the
Warranty.
same part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And I noticed when I was doing that my tape didn't get sucked into the intake. I wonder why that didn't happen. Huh?
Because the spark plugs are out?
Yeah, because the spark plugs are going. All right.
I'm smart sometimes.
Yep, I'm proud of you.
Oh.
All right, let's put the spark plugs in.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, who's this Taylor, huh?
Yep. I asked Jeff what he wanted us to put in it for wires, and he said, I don't know, but I just want to make some street thunder.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I think that was his exact words.
So I said, all right, I know what to get for it then.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put some anti-seize on each one of these, because I do that on all spark plugs. And I am going to put too much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So.
True ugly truck fashion.
Mm-hmm. So before you call and tell me I put too much lubricant on something, I know. Believe me.
Okay.
And these are, what are they? Double platinum?
I think just platinum.
It's what the guy had in the engine. We pulled them out, looked at them, Bosch platinum plugs. I would have went with AC Delco 45 TS, RTS probably, myself, just because I'm thrifty.
Thrifty. Yeah, will platinum plugs really make any kind of difference on it at all?
No. No, but they'll last longer.
Oh.
All right. So in order to put them in, I'll need a socket.
Okay.
All right, let's do number 1 first, since it's had the most abuse today.
Yeah.
All the other cylinders, nobody ever talks about them unless something goes wrong with them.
Mm-hmm.
But number 1 gets all the attention.
Yeah.
If you're an engine, that's what you would want to be, number 1 cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the rest of them are just along for the ride.
Yeah. On our 74 last week, some of them really were just along for the ride.
Yeah, that thing ran horrible.
I had some troubles.
All right, and this, again, cast iron head, I'm going to put the corns to it. I'm not going to screw around with a torque wrench on it. I know how tight to put them in without breaking them.
Yeah.
Or hurting anything, but if you weren't, you know, experienced with it, you might want to use a torque wrench. Oh, I can't wait to turn it over and see what it's like with some compression.
These fuel lines are going to get hot laying on the manifold like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to warm your fuel up.
Yeah.
That sounds scary.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so I just got to go through and tighten them all. About 6 corns.
A lot of corns.
Yep. Yeah. Alrighty. Alright, spark plugs are in.
Yay.
Okay, we're good.
Yep.
Ah, yeah. Alright. Why did I go with Street Thunder? I like these because they're unassembled, okay? We're going to have to make them. They've been around since 1923.
Wow.
A lot of people say the same thing about me.
Aw.
I know.
It's 100 years.
Oh, it is 100 years.
Oh, boy.
I've installed these on quite a few small blocks.
Yep.
And I always thought that they were nice quality and they always work good. They're not, the ends aren't put on them, so we're going to do that. But that gives us an opportunity to run them the way we like. You know, they're 8mm wires. The spark plug ends are already terminated. It's just the HEI side that you got to do, and it gives you 2 different choices of what you wanted. So It has multiple applications, basically. All right.
Oh, I see.
So we won't use that one.
Okay.
We will use the HEI, high energy emission GM pins.
Sweet.
Okay. So they give you plenty of length, and you can run these. That's a coil wire, which we won't need because we're doing an HEI. Okay.
Okay.
So there you have it.
Cool. Juice is excited. Here. Take your foam. Take your foam. Give me it.
Alright, so I do these afterwards, okay? I run the wires first,
Okay.
and I'll show you how I do it, and other people can tell me how they do it, okay?
Yeah.
Alright, so, count my wires, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
Go ahead, I give each one of them their grease, instead of doing them individually. Saves time.
Yeah.
It's $12 for a bottle of this stuff, and you get one squirt out of it,
It's just,
and then it just leaks all over the place.
just one big continuous squirt.
It's like the Ultra Black. It's a one-time use. See, it's still coming out.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness.
Okay. All right. So that's probably way too much too.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So what do? I take a look at it, and I look at my distributor, and I know the firing order is 18436572, starting with this being number 1. Okay.
Okay.
Because we made it number 1.
Yeah.
Now, remember, like if you didn't drop the cylinder or the distributor down, whoever did could make number 1, whichever one they wanted. Okay? But I like it on that one. But if you didn't do it, you need to double check that. Okay?
Yeah.
And make sure which one is number 1.
Yeah.
If it was a running engine before, you could follow number 1 cylinder and just see which one it lands on, just to double check it if you're not taking the distributor out. But I look at it, and I know that the longest one is going to be number 2, because number 2 lands right there, and number 2 is out here at the end of the passenger side of the block on the front, and it's going to go from that and all the way around to that. So that's going to be my longest wire. Okay, so I just hold them up, grab my longest wire, mark it as number 2. Okay.
Okay.
So there's number 2. It's going to come, and it's going to run all the way around to that one. All right.
Okay.
Basically set it in there for now. So my next one, I just take a look at it and I go, which is going to be my next longest one. Okay.
Okay.
So I got 1, 8. This goes to 4, which is that one. So that's not very long. This is number 3, which is pretty long. Okay. It's going to go from here around and it down to the second cylinder back.
Okay.
Okay. So 18436 goes from here down to there, which isn't very long. 5 and 7 are right there, so they're pretty short. And then we already did 2, okay? So I know that my next shortest one is going to be, so 1843.
Yep.
Okay?
Okay.
Pull them up again, grab my next longest one, number 3, and mark it. 2, 3. So 1843, right there. The rest are all pretty short. Let's just do number 1, get it over with.
Okay.
And this, they give you a ton of length on
Yeah.
these, so that's why I really like them. I've never done one and been like, oh, I just come up short on one of them. Okay, so that's going to be number 1. Number 8. Number 8's a lot of lines, so instead of doing a lot of lines, I just go like that.
Yeah.
Okay. 8 is furthest one back. Next one's 4, and it is really short. 2, 3, 4. Okay, 3's done. 6, 5, 6. Help if the fuel lines weren't in the way. This stupid chrome dipstick.
I'm sorry.
So, 6.
6.
And all we got left is 5 and 7.
Okay.
4, 5. See how I counted?
Mm-hmm. I'm so good at counting.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 5 and 7. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm not even going to bother marking it because I know the one that doesn't have a mark on it is 7.
Okay.
All right. It's like 7-minute abs.
7, man.
All right, we're all done.
Perfect. Looks great.
Thank you. All right, so now we need to make the wires look good, separate them, then we'll terminate them on the end at the cap, okay?
Okay.
Then we're done with the wires, all right?
Yay.
Okay, so this is your opportunity to be kind of creative, okay? And I use zip ties as wire separators. You can buy fancy ones, you know, but I like doing it this way. You go around the whole wire, go between the two, come through, and I'll run the wire where I like it. Okay?
Okay.
Put my zip ties down here so they're easier to access.
Get you like
Okay.
a little tool pouch, just full of zip ties.
That'd be cool.
Ooh, a fanny pack.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Oh. Oh. Kind of see where I'm going with this?
Yeah. Does the low pressure gauge help you?
No. Does not. Okay. There's those. And then these Taylor wires, they're long enough that the ones that we run underneath the exhaust manifolds, there's, you know, that much wire on them, so that's why there's so much excess on them, but they work perfect on all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, they've always been good. I've had no complaints, and I definitely know what I'm talking about.
So 4 of them together, same thing, just one zip tie around all of them, and then separate them all with an individual zip tie. I have some plastic separators over there somewhere, but I just like doing them this way.
Yeah, it ends up looking nice.
Yep. And as long as you don't run out of zip ties, you can do it however you like.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, if you try it this way, you definitely want to get the big bag of zip ties.
Okay, so it's already starting to look nice,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so let's go ahead and put the ends on it. All right.
Okay.
So let's do number 1 to begin with, and we'll want it to be probably about that long. Use the largest one I got. Go back about 3/4 of an inch. And all you end up leaving is the center of it, okay?
Okay.
Whatever you do, don't cut that. It ends up, we fold it over and then we crimp it and then we put the end on it, okay?
Okay.
So let's do that. So fold it over, put it to the back of it, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And I go to where the insulation is just sticking past that. And then these pliers are made to do this. It's got the actual crimp on it. Got to get it started a little bit. Look good?
Sweet.
All right, so my terminal's on the end of it, and push it into the boot. Yeah. Make sure it's in all the way. Okay. And it's gonna go to there. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, put a little grease on it. Okay. Good enough?
Sweet.
Alright, so let's do the next one. It's going to be number 2 or number 3.
It's not a Ford, Dad.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Okay, so leave that a little long.
Can you use any kind of grease to make the boot go on easier, or you want it dry?
They're already kind of slippery.
Oh, really?
They got like a little coating or something on them that's kind of makes them kind of greasy.
Grody.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So that's number 3. Alright, so let's do number 5 next.
Okay.
Okay. So 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5. 5. I figured out why they give you an extra terminal for when you screw up.
Oh. I noticed you got number 8 down there real quick.
Did that while you weren't looking. Okay?
So sneaky.
Yeah. I didn't like how short I cut number 1, so I traded number 1 for number 8. Redid number 1. Okay. This is a great reason why to cover up the intake with some tape,
Yes.
you know, because a lot of stuff is getting cut right now and you would not want it to fall into your intake. So, but I don't have to worry about it because it's taped up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so what did we say? 5, 1, 8, 4, 3. Up there. Let's give it some grease. All right, number 7.
Okay.
Number 5 and number 7 are the 2 most common wires that people get switched. And it doesn't run very good, but it's almost, you almost can't tell. But it doesn't run perfect. So anytime on a small block Chevy, if it doesn't seem quite right, that's the first thing I'd look at is 5 and 7 to make sure they are correct.
Yeah. That would drive you crazy.
Boot.
Boot.
When you push the boot in too, you'll want to make sure it's lined up too, because you don't want to have it upside down in there.
Oh, that'd be bad.
Yeah, that'll work. Too much? Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so that's it for the driver's side of the motor. We got all those done,
Sweet.
but let's take and do the zip tie on it. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll be finished with that side. Hold them all out like that. Roll things around. Cut.
Sweet.
There you have it. All right, other side. 4 more to go, or 3 more to go. Because I already switched number 8 around.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, what's that?
Huh?
What's that?
Package from Summit Racing.
For me?
Nope.
Oh.
You also don't want your wires to touch your exhaust manifolds. Which is the reason for doing this, really. Oh, I wonder who the guy was that came up with the name Street Thunder. Huh?
But he was a cool dude. But he drove a Mustang.
Who was the other guy we come up with?
Bill Rivet?
Oh yeah, Bill the Rivet guy.
Yeah.
Here we are, guys. Plastic rivets. We'll hold the whole car together with plastic rivets. It'll be great.
Alright, so be like that, right? The side cutters are getting a little worn. There you go. Okay. Alright, so I did number 8. Let's see, let's do number 2, okay? 2's the longest one. It's gonna come around. Everything's gonna be about like that. And crimp it. Get a little grease. That's number 2. And I'll zip tie it up like that, okay?
Okay.
Number 3, right? 1, 8, 4, 3. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
So the 2 longest ones tied together. If you didn't want to do this, you could buy a set of wires, okay? I just think this ends up looking nicer when we're done.
You gotta have everything tucked in nice.
Yeah. And you don't have that one extra wire that's like 2 feet too long for some reason that you got to wrap around the distributor for a couple times just to get rid of some of its length. Under that one. Bam.
Sweet.
Okay. So, I only got 1 more left. 1, 8, 4, 3, 6. Ooh, these are noise suppression wires too. You realize that?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from them so far. Super quiet.
Yeah, good answer. Years ago when you could get into a vehicle and you'd turn on the radio, if it had a bad spark plug wire in it, you'd hear them buzzing. They would just be listening to your engine rev through your stereo because they weren't noise suppression wires. So they have a little bit of resistance built into them, so it doesn't do that. But nobody listens to the radio anymore anyway.
Yeah.
It's all Bluetooth through your phone. Once in a while, when I want to be really annoyed, I'll turn on the regular radio. Listen to the morning zoo.
Delilah.
Oh, Delilah.
Delilah.
I don't know. Sometimes when I'm listening to that, I have trouble believing that some of the stories are true.
You think some of those people aren't actually happy in love?
I don't know. Sometimes it just seems like something's not quite right with some of the stories. My favorite one is when they give away a dozen roses to somebody. And then they say, who do you want to give them to? And it ends up being a different person.
Oh, like they give it to their girlfriend and not their wife.
Uh-huh.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, I can't believe that would happen.
Well, yeah, that's definitely not made up for entertainment.
No. Also, all the scrap pieces, don't leave them sitting up on your intake manifold because it's plastic and it melts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Can I like that one?
And it stinks. Yeah, on your manifolds. And so we'll zip tie those together. And that just kind of ties the room together.
Yeah.
Obscure movie reference.
Mm. I guess you're not a golfer.
Oh no, the distributor moved. You see that?
Oh no.
That's okay though, because we marked it earlier.
Yay.
We know it's where it's supposed to go. Look good to you?
Yeah.
Alright, so nothing's being pulled on. We're gonna have a breather tube go into that one. Something will happen where we'll tie that down probably right to there. But it looks nice and not touching the exhaust manifolds.
Sweet.
So that's it for the wires and the ignition system, except for putting power to the ignition system.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That whole thing.
All right, so that's it for the intake and the ignition system, okay?
Okay.
This thing, we're going to put a fuel system in it that's going to take care of both the FiTech and the LS swap when we get around to doing the LS swap in it.
Yep.
So next time you see it, we'll be doing that. We'll wire up the FiTech system and we will fire this baby up.
Yes.
Okay? I'll have to put the cooling system in it in the meantime, but we won't bore you with that because I'm going to put the LS swap cooling system in it also, okay?
Yep, and we've shown you that before, so.
Yep. So we appreciate you watching. Thanks a lot.
Catch you next time. I know. You go head down. Go ahead then. Juice's butt shot.